I'm Ron Slay, still ballin'.
I'm Josh Henley, still ballin'.
What's up? This Coach Penny Collins, and I'm still ballin'.
I'm Jamal Richardson, still ballin'.
Patrick Rucker here, Executive Director of Still Ballin' After Sports. You're gonna hear this word in season 1 a lot, but I don't use the word lightly. We got another legend here, Mr. Josh Henley. And I say for myself, it's not a lot of times people younger than me that I look up to, but Josh has a lot of admirable characteristics that I admire myself. So I appreciate him taking the time out. Gardner Webb legend.
Sir.
Heart over height, I would say. Heart over situation, heart over size. And yeah, we're just here to take the time to jump into his journey a little bit. First question I want to jump into, a thing I like to talk about, Josh, is like, what was your mindset like back in high school? Like, I would say you're not only, but you're a financial guru right now. Like, when you were in high school, were you like, this is what I'm gonna do whenever I stop playing sports? Or what was kind of your mentality like in high school as far as profession and where you would be as an adult?
Well, I'll say, so I came through at Hunters Lane, and I had Jeremiah Crutcher, Mike Jones, Uriah Scales, Casanova Donaldson. I was a freshman, they were juniors. So, coming out of 8th grade, I had a lot of public schools, high schools want me to come to their school. Maplewood, Coach B, one being one of them. He came to the house, recruited me, and but I ended up going to Hunters Lane, and I really pay a lot of homage to those guys that I just named, because they groomed me in the sense of, I was an 8th grader thinking that I could do whatever I wanted to do. Everybody was a star, and I feel like in middle school or high school, but when I got there, it was a system. We had Anthony Sewell, which was a great coach. He was at Tennessee. He played college basketball at Tennessee, so he already had that college blueprint of how practices was ran. So I was getting that college grooming already. But Jeremiah and those guys helped me and shaped me in the sense of like, okay, you got to come in and earn your stripes before you get on the floor. I didn't play my freshman year. Man, I played freshman basketball, and I did my thing with Big Roger. Big Roger gang, shout outs to him, before he went to the White House, before he went with you. But then at the end of my freshman year, I got on the court, and that was the most humbling experience. I'll never forget this one play. It was against Maplewood, Torrey Pelham, Jimmy Firesen. This game, if you've been to Hunters Lane and how it was like a miniature junior college, how big the gym was. In that game, Maplewood and Hunters Lane was so packed, we was beating them. Man, it was like 20 seconds left. We beating them. Humbling experience. I got on the court. Man, I held the ball for 20 seconds. Coach Sewell and them told me, you better not shoot. That was one of those plays where that was, I always say you have snapshots in life of things that you remember, and that was one of those things where that humbled me, because I had to sit there, and I got all these people, my family there, everybody, don't shoot that ball. That's why I learned, the work started for me right there, because I said, for me to shoot the ball and to get on the court with these guys, I got to put in that work. So that's where I really was like, okay, that's why I got to start working. That's when I started working. So that, to answer your question, man, that's when I really honed in and was like, basketball is what I want to do, but I know it's not going to be everything, but I know that's where I want to do to get me to where I got to go.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate that, Josh. And one thing I heard you talk about in there is just like the people that were around you at that point. You talked about Crutch, Mike Jones, talked about Coach Sewell. What would you say, or what would you say the importance is of having the right people around you along your journey?
Man, so important. I'm the youngest of 6 kids. Man, and when I say this, my mom raised all 6 of us by herself. My dad left the house when she was 8 months pregnant with me. So for a mom, a black mom, to send all her kids to school, whether that was athletics or academics, and we all graduated college. Let that sink in.
That's tough.
You know, when I talk about that, that's hard for being white or being black. But for a black mom to do that, she said one thing when we got of age, she said you're going to either have to jump high or be smart. Pick one. Because when you turn 18, I ain't got nothing for you.
Yeah.
You can't come back here.
Yeah.
I don't have nothing. You know, my mom didn't own her first home until she was 61, 62, but I know we'll get to there when we get there. But having the right people around you, and you know, I look at Nashville, us as a community of brothers. Even though we're not blood, I really look at us as a community of brothers because, you know, having, you know, the Mike Jones and the Jeremiah Crutches around me, man, it really, you know, having those people, Anthony Sewell, like a lot of people thought he was a hard coach, but he was such a good person and a good coach that taught me a lot of things. So when I got to college, bro, it wasn't hard really for me to really get accustomed to practices and college practices because I was already doing that with him.
Right.
So having the right people, you know, definitely allowed me to be where I'm at. And I credit that a lot to my mom. You know, I don't really have idols, but she was my only idol I ever had. Yeah, so.
Man, appreciate that. Along your journey, so we go from Hunter's Lane to Gardner Webb to after sports, right? During that transition, do you have any regrets or anything that you look back on, you say, while I was playing in college, I wish I would have done this, or wish I would have tried to learn this earlier, or even in high school, like, now I look back, I wish I would have tried to attain these skills. Or if you don't, what are some of those skills that you did attain early on that do help you now?
Man, I honestly, man, I really don't have any regrets. I don't really have any regrets from college because, you know, that was a journey well in itself that I learned a lot from. I was at Gardner Webb. I led the nation of rebounding, all Division I freshmen. You know, I was
from the Ville.
Man, that's a story with itself.
Yeah.
Man, I'm 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah, for sure.
That's all,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Everybody I'm going against 6'8", 6'9". Blake Griffin, that's one of my guys right now.
Yeah.
Like, I'll go into that later, but you know, I'm going against the Damian James. He played at Texas. You know, those are the type of people, you know, I'm going against those guys. And, you know, I led the nation of rebound. I had to have a motor. So my I'm passionate. And you probably know that.
Absolutely.
But I'm passionate about, you know, what I do and if I do something. And so the skills, I knew basketball was a vehicle to where I was going to go in life. I knew I wasn't going to go pro. I knew that.
Yeah.
But it got me a scholarship. And I just outworked everybody.
Absolutely.
But I knew it was going to come a time where I was going to be in, you know, corporate America or out here being a regular person, and I was okay with that. I just used basketball for what it was there for. Play ball, free money, Pell Grant, because mama ain't had nothing. Man, a little stipend check, you know, I got that.
Absolutely.
Man, but when I got those checks, athletes should get paid. Like, let's not trip about that. Athletes should get paid. Even though the Pell Grant is something they should get paid.
Absolutely.
But we did get the Pell Grant, and when I got the Pell Grant, man, one thing I would do, I mean, I think fashion is a part of the black community. That's where it originated. But, you know, I'd give me a couple pairs of shoes. But we had apparel already, so I would just wear that to school, to, you know, to my classes. One thing college taught me was how to budget. And when I got those checks, bro, I didn't blow them. I didn't blow them, bro. What I do was I send, you know, gotta send mom at least a G. Gotta make, come on now.
Of course.
Gotta send her some money.
Of course.
I'll put the rest up. Man, so crazy. I started saving in 2008. I paid for my wedding in 2015 with my college money that I got from 2008 to 2013.
Wow.
So when my wife's mother came to us asking, you know, hey, you know, how much do y'all need for the wedding? I said, no, you good. I got money from when I saved in college. So one of those lessons going back to, you know, your question was, you know, I really learned how to save. I learned, you know, the business of college sports because it's just like corporate America,
Absolutely.
whether you believe it or not, it is. But I really value a dollar. And growing up the way I grew up, I mean, we didn't have much. So when I got a couple $1,000s, I thought I was rich.
Yeah.
But I was like, I can't blow it because mom said, hey, either you're gonna have to have academics or jump high to get a scholarship. I ain't got enough for you to come back to the crib. So that always resonated with me. So I saved that money so when I got back and got out of school, I wouldn't have to ask her for nothing and I could go ahead and start my life.
You got a little bit more wiggle room.
Yes, sir.
Awesome, man.
Yes, sir.
One thing I heard you touch on in there was just like having realistic expectations, right? You said like, I know I wasn't going to the league, right?
Yep.
How do you feel like having those realistic expectations like set you up for success, right? And I'll give you an example. So say you save this money, right? If you had an expectation like, I'm going top 5 in the draft, I'm about to get this lotto money, you might not have saved as much, right? Because you didn't have those, you had those expectations to go pro. So what do you feel like the importance is of having those proper expectations, of knowing how difficult it is to go to the NBA or play professional sports as a whole?
Man, go back to your point, having the right people in your circle. Jeremiah Crutcher, man, that's the best point guard I ever played with. I done played with some great point guards. Even now, we'll play, he'd be like, run the floor.
Yeah.
I'm running the floor.
Absolutely.
Because he was my general. But one thing that I always say, he always told me, he said, use sports, don't let it use you. Be real about it. You probably won't go to the league, and that's okay. And that's all right. And my brother Jahi, Henley. So he played back in Hunters Lane in '96 with Reggie Grimes. Reggie Grimes played for Alabama, played for New England. Reggie, I know you're still sick about the Super Bowl. Man, look, they won the Super Bowl after he left. So that's, you know what I mean? So having the right people. My brother, too, will always tell me, he'll be like, hey, you have to be realistic about this. Use sports. And so Jeremiah reiterated that as well. And so, you know, having those realistic expectations allowed me to not set myself up for failure. I knew I wasn't gonna go to the league. I knew I had to save some money. I knew I was gonna be regular. But those life lessons that I learned throughout life, and when I got into the regular world, bro, it wasn't really that hard for me to adjust because my ego was already checked out the door. I wasn't no big time athlete. I wasn't big time for nobody. Like I wasn't big time for nobody. So I was like, all right, graduated, it's time. So because I was already prepped and groomed throughout my life for those realistic expectations. Anything else pro was icing on the cake. Was cherry on the top. You know what I mean? So
I love it.
It's just about having those right people around you.
I love it. Man, and now obviously I would refer to you as a financial guru at this point. What would you say the importance of saving early is? Like, you know, to a kid that may be in high school, maybe working at Kroger, what's the importance of putting up those $10, $15, $20 every check?
Man, look, very important. You know, I tell my friends, even right now, because I feel like we compare ourselves too much. We on social media, all that. I tell kids, don't rush to get out the house. If your mama and your dad is allowing you to stay at the crib, that is a win.
For sure.
And you got a job.
For sure.
What are we talking about? That 15 is really 30, 40 an hour. Because you don't have to pay for rent. Your food really, your food ain't crazy, your bill not crazy. You ain't got to pay for water, electricity, all that. So you build up that savings 2 to 5 years. You have a plan. You can't be going out going crazy. Treat yourself every now and then because we all like nice things, but budget that. The sooner you can, and people talk about, I need to make more money. No, the more money you make, the more you gonna spend.
Absolutely.
Those Nikes gonna turn into Gucci.
That's
right?
a fact.
You know what I'm saying? That Adidas gonna turn into Louis.
Absolutely.
I don't even own a piece of designer. I always, it's crazy, I look at it, but I ain't gonna never buy it because it ain't me. But, you know, to the kid that's working at Kroger, that's in high school, save your money. Get you a booklet, simple. Get you a little booklet, write down how much you make and what you need to save. Just write out simple. It's simple. It's really not hard. We make saving money so hard.
For sure.
You ain't gotta pay nobody to do that. Get you a little booklet, literally, a little booklet. I still do this. My wife knows if I passed away today, I have our budget planned out to January 2022. She can literally live life by a script because it's literally right there with everything to go, right? But all you have to do is get you a little booklet. Let's say you make it $1,000 per month. Whatever that number is, you need to save $300-400. Save that and live on that less because you're at home. I mean, if you want to go get you a little Nikes, get you a little go get fresh. You know, you can wear your Zara, your H&M. You can still be fresh in that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, I always, to that kid, save half of your check because you at least gonna get paid what, $1,000, $2,000 roughly for the month. Save half of your check because you can if you at home. You can do that realistically. So yeah,
man.
Yeah.
I keep, every time you talk about a story, I hear like a different skill. Like there, I heard you talk about preparation, right? You're looking at the book, we planning this out.
Sir.
And even playing in college, like your relentlessness on there, like that takes a certain amount of determination, right? Want to jump into like any other skills that you feel like you use today that you got from playing sports or being around other athletes?
Man, I really think sports taught me soft skills. I don't think a degree, I don't think you can't go to Vanderbilt, Stanford, Princeton, Harvard. I don't care. You stack me against anybody that went to them schools, I'm gonna kill them in the interview. Kill them.
Yeah.
Because I know how to present myself and I know how to talk to people. In college and sports helped us with that.
Absolutely.
That's why we're doing this right now, right? Because we're able to talk to anybody. We know how to connect the dots. Sports connects everyone. I don't care what race, gender, whoever you are, it connects people. And if that doesn't, we know how to pick up on the energy of people where we can tap into, okay, they ain't really feeling the sports. Okay, let me tap into something else. And then their eyes light up. Oh, you got them. Then you talking to them. Then they get to know you as a person. So I feel like, sports, soft skills, I'm big on that. Degrees, they cool, don't get me wrong. But man, look, man. I know people that got masters. I know people that got 2-year degrees. I know people in leadership that got 2-year degrees. The difference between them and other people that had them degrees is soft skills.
I would say my journey is a testament to that. Like,
yes, bro.
Man.
Yes, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, bro, my first job, I share this story, soft skills. Middle school, one thing that I do, and which I love, I don't care if you're a CEO or the janitor, I want to get to know who you are. My first thing when I sit down with somebody is not what you do. What do you like to do outside of work? Because we so caught up in that.
Right, status.
So 8th grade, a lot of people don't know this. 7th grade, I went to NBA. We was part of that, like one of the legendary classes. David Whitfield. David Whitfield's a legend. If you know, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I went over to NBA. Man, no one out there looked like me.
Yeah.
My mom worked 3 jobs. She getting up at 5:30. Me and Preston Bailey, my mama had me over at Preston Bailey house so we could ride to school together. Get to school at 6. I'm practicing Jeremiah, legendary coach. Love Jeremiah. Love Jeremiah. Marcus Bodie over there too. I'm at school at 6. Other kids don't get there till like really 8 o'clock because they can afford to. Mom got to go to work.
Right.
Miss Tina got to go to work. So we get there. Mom can't pick me up till 8 o'clock. So I practice. I got to do a tutoring session with David Whitfield, Marcus Bodie. They give me some lunch, some dinner, eat, tutor session.
Yeah.
Man, I was like, I don't like this. Like I don't like NBA. That's why I learned the business, bro. The business of Nashville. It's a good old boy network.
Yeah.
So I told my mom, I said, no one looks like me.
Yeah.
I know you want to put me in the best position, but I can't do this.
Yeah.
Make long story short, after that year, she trusted me. I transferred over to Great Mar. Darwin Mason, one of the most influential black men in Nashville. I look up to him in a lot of ways. Took me in open arms. 8th grade. Played there. Fast forward to I graduated 2013. I come home after I graduate. Got a healthcare administration degree. I'm sitting in the barbershop. Mohawk barbershop down here, Jeremy. Down here, out east. I'm sitting there. Darren Mason Jr., Darren Mason's son, which I already had a good relationship with. We sitting there. He's like, man, I ain't seen you in a minute. What you doing now? I'm like, man, I done graduated. I don't know what I'm gonna do. At that time, I was interning with TBH Sports, which I'm still a part of, with Phil Reynolds and Brandon Williams. Shout out to TBH.
TBH, shout out.
So I'm sitting in there. I had a healthcare administration degree. That relationship back in 8th grade. When Darren Mason Jr. asked me in the barbershop, what are you doing now? I told him what I was doing, interning, but I want to tap into my healthcare. You know, he made a phone call to Bill Friss, well, Tommy Friss. Friss family. Started HCA. That was on a Friday. I had a job on Tuesday. That relationship from 8th grade showed those soft skills, right? Those nurturing those relationships. You know, I think in our generation, younger generation, we always looking for somebody to do something for us. Check up on your friends. Nurture those relationships. How you doing? You know, what's going on with you? I always did that with Mr. Mason. And he always looked at me as a son. Like I said, I graduated, came back, interned TBH, doing my thing there, still a part of that family, but I wanted to tap into healthcare, because that's my degree in. Seeing Darren Mason Jr. on a Friday, had a job. Tommy Friss hit me up. He said, what do you want to do? Told him what I wanted to do. And that's what, man, and I've been climbing, doing my thing ever since. And so I just attested to having those relationships and just really tapping in and opening up your mouth. Because I know we get intimidated as black men, but what George say, you know, you shoot. What do you say? You shoot as many shots. Well, you miss shots. You miss. What do you say?
You miss 100% of the shots
you don't take.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yep.
So you do.
Yeah.
And so I feel like as black men, it's easy for us to get intimidated when we're in a corporate setting or around influential people. But we really have to open up our mouth and just talk, because we have more in common with people than we think we do. Right.
And more to offer to people.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You mentioned NBA, so I just want to shout out Preston,
Yep.
Nathan, Wade, EJ.
Yep.
That's family right there.
That's family. That's family. That's family.
One thing you talked about that I feel like definitely helped me in my career is having an internship. Like, I was fortunate enough my junior and senior year at TSU to intern with Target, right?
Yeah.
So how important do you feel like an internship is in setting you up for success, or knowing like this is what I want to do?
No, for sure. Man, I had an internship when I graduated college 2013. Brandon Williams, Phil Reynolds, shout out to TBH. Man, that's my family. Like, those are my brothers, because they gave me an opportunity. Man, I was getting coffee, and I'm not afraid to say that, because you got to start somewhere.
Absolutely.
And I think people get lost in the journey, like, I got to be a CEO today. Bro, I was getting coffee. I was taking meeting notes. Like, I was a secretary, bro.
Yeah.
Like, Rob Covington.
Yeah.
When Rob got drafted, even though he went undrafted, when he got to Houston, I was the one that, you know, when Brandon was like, hey, I want you to help Rob. I was happy as I don't know what, because I was getting coffee, taking meeting notes. I wasn't doing nothing.
Yeah.
And so when he told me to do that, I was so happy. You know, Rob got his little charger. He thought he was doing something. Now Rob on a whole different situation now. Shout out to Rob. But he got a journey within himself, right? But just going back to, you know, what you were saying, you know, that internship really opened up my eyes. Because when you're young, you like, I want to take on the world. Like, I'm ready. No, you're not ready. You're not ready. You got to start somewhere. And so that humbled me. That was another humbling moment, right? So that humbled me, but you know, somebody took a chance on me, and forever I'm embedded with TBH. Like I'm like they call me the honorary like third partner with them because like I got so many relationships with the athletes with them that you know, like if I go to games, you know, we even talk finances there, right? And you know, a lot of those athletes, you know, I respect them and they respect me, and just you know, they be like, bro, you balling like you an athlete. I was like, well, that was the goal, you know, to do those type of things, you know. But yeah, bro, I think it's just important because it humbles you and it helps you to realize you're not ready, but with the proper preparation, grooming, and polish, you will be ready. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
Man, I love these stories you telling me, Josh.
Yeah,
And
man.
what do you feel like the importance of not having an ego is? Because in a lot of your stories, I hear you not having an ego. You don't mind doing the dirty work. Like, how important do you feel like it is on your journey to not have an ego at all?
Man, bro, I'm 6'3", 200 and what, at that time, 15.
Yeah.
Man, I averaged 10.5 rebounds a game. That lets you know everything about me.
Yeah.
When people say, in a nutshell, that's what I say. Because I was a team player.
Yeah.
Bro, one game, I had 4 points and 23 rebounds in college.
Yeah.
Bro, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm going to do the dirty work because I know everybody on this court wants to shine.
Yeah.
They want to shoot the ball.
Yeah.
So when I get that offensive rebound, when I got 6 or 7, 8, sometimes 10 offensive rebounds, that means the defense is scrambling.
Yeah.
I could be a team player, get that second chance opportunity, and distribute the ball out to my teammates so they can get an open shot. So that's how I look at life.
Yeah.
It's like, if I'm on a project or I'm doing something, I'm a team player. I'm looking out for my teammates. How can I put them in the best position to succeed? Because if you do that, it's gonna come back on you.
Absolutely.
And I think, and to tap in some more to the kids that's trying to get a scholarship right now, quit trying to score the ball. You ain't gotta do that.
Yeah.
Just play in the flow.
Yeah.
Because if you do that, those scouts gonna look at you, right? And you know, being a team player, checking that ego, bro, I never had that ego. You have to have a chip on your shoulder. You have to have that hard work ethic. But I never really had an ego on my shoulder. I always like, let's do the right thing and be a team player, team guy first. And everything else will take care of itself.
So, you know, we both athletes, both play basketball. Basketball is a game of runs. Can you remember a specific time in your journey where life was on a 10-0 run, a 15-0 run against you?
Man, I feel like I had a many of those, especially growing up in Parkwood.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But recently, you know, I lost my mom April 7th, either April 17th, April 18th. I always get them April 17th. Lost my mom, and being the youngest of 6 kids, and you know, she's always been my idol. That was tough, because, you know, even thinking about it, you know, the emotions come back. That was tough because that was my everything, and life beat me up. Like life beat me up, but going back to your point earlier in the interview, having the right people around you. You know, my best friend Eric Wisdom, shout out to E.
Shout out E.
Marquez Cantrell, shout out to Quez. Man, Casey Hayward, Phil Reynolds, and my wife. And it's important to marry the right person because you're with that person, and through those times they help you. And you know, I remember, you know, tapping in with those people, and it was other people as well that really tapped in with me, and I appreciate that love for sure. But you know, I remember hitting up Casey, and Casey just, you know, he lost his mom, and so he was able to give me some insight into how that was, and to help me. He said, it's gonna hurt, it's gonna continue to hurt, because you're gonna wake up, you're gonna feel like something missing, but you just learn how to live with the pain, and that's okay. Man, that was the first time I really felt like in my life I was depressed, because, you know, we're athletes, so we supposed to be all macho and woo-to-woo, but that was the first time I really felt like I was depressed because, you know, my mom was she is my everything. You know, I tell my wife I still take care of her life after death, because I always gotta make sure her tombstone, everything, her headstone, her flowers look good, because that's what she did for me all through my life. So, man, life really beat me up then because I was being someone at that time. During that time, like 6 to like 8 months that I was just lonely. I felt just by myself, and that wasn't who I was. And so having the right people to help you get through that, man, is very crucial. And so life was really on a 10-0 run on me, beat me up.
Yeah.
But I got my strength, and that's why I say you follow me on the ground. That's why I got the heart of Jeanette, because the heart of Jeanette for me, I mean, I post my wife, I post working out, I'm passionate about finances, I'm passionate about budgeting, I'm passionate about just being passionate. And so Heart of Jeanette instills all that for me. So that's why you see Heart of Jeanette, because everything I do has a Heart of Jeanette, and helping and giving back to the community is Heart of Jeanette. So, yeah, man.
I appreciate you jumping there, man. I know this is a heavy topic for you, so I definitely appreciate it. To switch gears a little bit, you know, this is obviously still balling after sports. When you hear like still balling, like what does that mean to you?
Whoo, still balling. Still balling after sports.
Yes, sir.
You know, like I said at TBH, man, you know, and I'm still with my guys. A lot of the athletes, they be like, Josh, you know, I respect you because we see how you have came into your own from when I started as an intern to now. And they be like, man, you balling like an athlete.
Yeah.
So for me, that's the goal.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm able to save for my future kids, my wife is good. And the goal was to always to ball like an athlete, but be responsible at the same time. So balling after sports is, man, living life on your terms, being passionate, helping other people, and not just balling on the material things, balling and helping others that's less fortunate, tapping into this inner city where we from, and talking to these kids, because the kids are our future for real. And man, and one of my close friends asked me this like a couple weeks ago. He said, "What makes you happy?" And it hit different because I just turned 30. And I said, "Man, that's a simple question, but it's so complicated."
Yeah, for sure.
And I said, "Man, you know what? What makes me happy is really not the money." Bro, I was a director of a healthcare company. I done did that stuff before. I done made 6 figures. I done did that. And the money is not everything, bro. It's not.
Absolutely.
But helping others and tapping in and going into, you know, having Patrick Walker Reese, shout out to Patrick, you know, dreams come true every day. You know, talking to, you know, Patrick and having him invite me into McKenzie and really come in and talk to the kids and going around and talking to kids at my old middle school and high school. That's balling after sports for me because they get to see a black man that's successful that ain't an entertainer, a rapper, an athlete. No knock to my guys for that. But they like, man, he's still living a great life and he don't do none of that. So when they say that, hey, Mr. Henley, man, I really appreciate you coming and talking to us and really being very transparent. And they get to see my life through my speech and through pictures on Instagram. They're like, man, you know, you bought your first home at 26, you built your first home at 26. You know, right? And, you know, my mom didn't own her first home until she was 61. So let that sink in, bro. You know, man, you know, that's a whole nother situation, but you know, that's balling after sports for me. It's really giving back to my community, not from a money standpoint, but from really taking these kids, wrapping my arms around them and my love around them, and talking to them, and not only just talking to them, but following up with action after I talk to them.
I love it. And for the people out there that may not be familiar with you, Josh, like how can they find you? How can they tap in with you? How can they find you?
Just you know, we all got social media. You know, just tap in with me, J_Henley 23. man, Facebook, message me, whatever you want to do. I'm open. I'm always willing to talk to whoever that want to be helped, man. Like, I'm not perfect. I don't have it all figured out, but I can pass whatever I do have and give it. So, man, I'm always available. I'm always willing to help anyone and everyone, because if I didn't have those people that was big mentors of mine help me, then I wouldn't be here.
Each one teach one. Each one teach
Yes,
one.
sir.
Well, we appreciate your time, Josh.
Yes, sir.
Tap in with my guy. Like I said, awesome guy, mentor. You felt the energy, you seen it here. Yeah, man, tap in.